Welcome to Redneck Outfitters One, where the labor is cheap and the advice is free. Thanks for joining us. To give you an update on the bug project. I'm getting real close to getting the interior done. As you know, I got the seats all upholstered, reupholstered. Got the door panels in, not in the car, but I got them in from the supplier. And I got to get them ready. Got to do a little more prep work, put some plastic on the doors and whatever for a water barrier. Get the clip holders in, get the clips on the new panels. One thing I've been debating is the one panel, I believe it's the passenger panel, originally had an ashtray. And I do have the ashtray. If I decide to put it in, I need to get it cleaned up, maybe even paint it or something. It's a little pitted. Wouldn't look real good in the car unless I do something with it. But I could actually just put the door panel in without the ashtray, because one, if I'm going to, I really don't want to have to do all the work on this silly little ashtray, because first of all, I'm spending thousands of dollars on this thing. I'm not going to have some clown in there with a cigarette getting ashes all over or burning through something. So there's no need for an ashtray. But you know, the purists will say, oh, you really need to do it and this and that. Well, if a purist is going to look at this Volkswagen, they're not going to be happy to begin with, because there are some flaws. There are some kind of dings or whatever you want to say. You know, when I put in the trim or whatever, of course, the chassis is not original to the Bug. So somebody's going to look at this and go, well, that ain't right to begin with. You know, it's not numbers matching, whatever. I don't care. You know, I'm doing the work on it. So, and it's good enough for me. I think it's, I wouldn't say easier, but maybe more of a challenge to take 2 or 3 cars, make them into one, rather than take one original car that everything you know is going to fit perfect because it was already there. You know, I think it's more of a challenge to kind of mix and match a little bit and test your strengths and talents. So today I cleaned up the hood, if you will, the trunk lid, whatever you want to call this thing. Finally got it stripped down. It's just in rattle can primer right now. There's a couple places on there I still got to work on, get right. One of my fenders, I got a dent in there I got to fix, and a little bit of crack that Bondo or something cracked on it. You know, when you tear these apart, you see the stories of the vehicle. You know, I think this vehicle was originally red. There was a lot of red paint underneath this blue, but whoever did the blue did a real good job. And you know, when I bought this body, I thought, man, this thing is in super, super great shape for as old as it is. And, you know, once you start stripping it down, you figure out why. They basically put a skim coat on this entire car, which if you watch any of these car shows, you watch these experts or what have you, you know, they're doing this, doing that, putting in patch panels and this and that, and they do a great job of that. And then they put a skim coat over in the entire car and then just block it down smooth. You know, this thing is going to show some flaws. It's going to show some character. It's going to have a ding here. It's going to have a wave here. It's going to have this here. You know, I don't care. I'm not cheating the system and hiding everything just to make it look good. Because, yeah, I may take it to some local shows, but, you know, I'm not taking this to the big auction out in Las Vegas or anything to where, you know, it's going to be judged by a whole ton of people. And I mean, anybody can judge it, you know, whatever you want to do. You can judge me. You can judge on how I'm doing things. I don't care. You know, I've gotten some great advice from people who I don't think have ever rebuilt a car. And I've gotten some good advice from people who have and know what they're talking about. And, you know, some of it I may have taken, some of it not. But it's my project, so I'm doing it my way. But we are getting there. You know, sooner or later we'll get to the end. Once I get the interior all done, get everything back in, then I'm going to, of course, I'm going to go ahead and jack it up again, take the wheels off, get the brake situation sorted out, bleed everything again, get those working correctly, and then get the engine running where it's supposed to be running. It should be close. You know, it was built by a professional, wasn't built by me. But get it where it needs to be, get everything lined up, and then I'm going to worry about painting these fenders and the hood and the lid and the trunk lid, whatever you call it. And then we'll get those on the car, and then it'll be ready, I guess. I don't know. Still got a long ways to go, still got some parts to buy, but that's where we're at right now. So stay tuned with us, and hopefully we'll get this thing finished sometime. The weather's going to put a little pressure on me for painting these things. You know, last year, or when I was painting the Bug, I had a little trouble with the weather. That's one bad thing about not having an insulated garage, and not having the room in here, not having a real paint booth. I think the car has turned out pretty well, and I no doubt these fenders will too. And you know, if I gotta wait till next spring, I gotta wait till next spring. But I don't want to do that. But that gives me time to get everything else and make sure I'm taking my time to do it right. So there's no timeline on this really, but stick with us, and we're going to get her on the road one of these days. So we're getting really close. Most of the hard work is done. It's just the little tedious things and getting things lined out and getting her road ready, get her registered, and get her ready to go. So hopefully that'll go smooth. You never know with the state of Illinois. But that's the game plan. So good to see you again. Like I've always said, if you like us, give us a like. If you want to subscribe so you know what we're doing, you know when the videos are coming out. Today's video is probably pretty boring. Just a little bit of work that I've done, probably showed before on the other parts and on the car. But, you know, some people don't see all of them. Some see how we do, get a little action in there, and just check in with you folks. So, y'all have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the next one. like my earlier project, one of my videos, I incorporated my grandmother Nellie into it by using an old chair of hers to hold up something I was working underneath. I decided to incorporate my mother-in-law Charlotte in on this video. Unfortunately, about 7 months ago we lost Charlotte, but I have her old walker, and it's one of those that you can sit on, as you can see. I use it out in the garage all the time. We were going to get rid of it, and I thought, I can use that out in the garage. As somebody with a bad back, and now I've had a stroke, standing up for long periods of time or bending over does not do well for me. So I got Charlotte's chair out today, or her walker out today, and decided to use it while I was out there using the sander, and it worked great. So thank you, Charlotte. I love you and I miss you. can start to see the red paint that I was talking about there on the ridge in the middle of the hood. And you can also see all that yellow. What that yellow is, that's the skim coat that they put over there. The whole thing basically makes it all yellow. And as I'm sanding through all this, then you can see the different layers of the blue paint, the old red paint, the skim coat, and some primer. So that shows you what I'm talking about earlier in the video, in case you don't know what the skim coat looks like. If you start taking this paint off and this is what you see, this yellow, that's the skim coat with the basically body filler type of material. And then they block sand that all off nice and smooth, and then prime it, paint it, and so forth. So that's what I'm talking about. as you can see, this is just a portion of the work that goes into this. This is just basically one panel. The first coat of sanding, second coat of sanding. You can go through many coats depending on how fine you want to get this and how smooth you want to get it. Today my goal was just to get all this old paint off, get everything somewhat smooth, so that when I could put some primer on it, even though it's just the rattle can primer for now, you can see the imperfections, you can see any kind of a dent or any kind of a scratch, deep scratch or that sort of thing. I did find a couple of spots that somebody had put some Bondo in, and I think what some of those, you can see in the middle there's a piece of trim that would normally be on there, and they filled those holes in. If you look to the right of the screen, you see one little bitty hole kind of by itself, about where the corner of the table is there. That's Bondo, that kind of pink color. For some reason they put something there. I don't know if they had something on there as far as a light, an antenna trim, or what the deal was, or if there just happened to be a dent or a hole there that they needed to take care of. But you can see how much work it is trying to take this stuff off. And you know, you got to have these, I think anyway, to save your hands, you got to have these sanders to take all this off as quickly as possible. You know, if you're trying to do this with your hands, you better have some tough hands, because they're going to be cramping up later. Mine will be cramping up even by using this electric sander. But you can see the different layers there: the dark blue, the light blue, the red, the yellow, a little bit of the pink here and there where they filled the holes, and the bare metal. So to get all this super smooth, you got to go through several grits of paper. You know, work your way down. Of course, the lower the number, the rougher the paper. So again, you can go several stages, however smooth you want to make this, and spend hours and hours on the whole project. You could spend hours just on this one piece. This is a pretty good sized panel. Luckily the Volkswagens are not real big. I couldn't even imagine, you know, doing a Eldorado Cadillac or a pickup truck or something with some real surface area, because this is just a lot of work. And but take your time. You know, if you don't have a timeline, you're not doing this professionally, you don't have to hurry. So you'll be real satisfied with what the results are if you take the time and you go through the stages and not try to do it all at one time. You know, just try to get it all off and then throw some primer on there. You're going to have to go through a couple of stages, and these videos don't show, you know, the several stages of going from one grit to the other. Again, you can peel this paint off real fast, throw some primer on it so it doesn't rust, and then go back and start doing your layering with your grits, and you know, do it that way just to keep protecting the metal, because obviously you don't want it sitting around uncovered or it's going to rust in a hurry. So but have fun with it, enjoy it. It's very satisfying when you get done.